Hello everyone. Welcome to today's lecture of object-oriented programming using Java with the paper code CS504A. This is Chayani Chandra, Assistant Professor of Department of Computer Science and Engineering of Guru Nanak Institute of Technology. Let's look at today's lecture contents. In the last lecture, we have learned about string class and different methods that are used on a string object which are already defined inside the string class. Now, in today's lecture, we will discuss about some more methods that are available in string class, and we will apply those methods on string objects, and we will also do some example programs to make you understand about those methods. Here on screen, you can see the methods that we will cover in today's lecture. So let us start by learning the different methods of string class. The first one of today's lecture is compare to method. Often in a Java program, you will see that it is not enough to simply know whether two strings are equal or not. For sorting applications, you need to know which is less than, which is equal to, or which is greater than the next. A string is less than another if it comes before the other in the dictionary order, and a string is greater than another if it comes after the other in dictionary order. The method compare to serves this purpose. So it has a general form which is written on screen. This is the general form of the method compare to. Here this str is a string that is being compared with the invoking string, and the result of the comparison is returned. And let us see now how the result that is being returned is interpreted in a Java program. Here in this table, you can see how it is being interpreted. If the value that is being returned is less than 0, then the invoking string is less than str. If the value returned is greater than 0, then the invoking string is greater than str. And if the value is equal to 0, that means the two strings are equal. Now let us do an example program to make you understand this concept of using compare to in a Java program. This is a simple program which demonstrates the use of compare to method on string objects. Here you can see that we have taken 5 string objects S1, S2, S3, S4 and S5. All the string objects are created using string literals. These are the string literals. Now in this statement we have used the compare to method on the string object S2, and this compare to method is being applied on the string object S1. That means this compare to method will actually compare the contents of the two strings S1 and S2. Now you can see that the two string objects contents are exactly same, so they will return a value 0 because both the strings are equal. Now in the next statement, S1 and S3, these two string objects will be compared using this compare to method. You can see that the contents of the string objects S1 and S3, these are the contents. This one is the content of S1 object and this one is the content of S3 object. These two are not equal, and the inequality comes in the very first letter of both the string objects. For S1 it is H, for S3 it's M. So as we know that H is 5 times lower than M, so a negative value which is -5 will be returned whenever compare to is applied on the two strings of string objects S1 and S3. Then in the next statement, compare to is used in order to compare the contents of the two string objects S1 and S4. Now we can see that S1 and S4 also have different contents, and the difference comes in the third character of the string content. Here you can see that the first two contents are exactly same, but the third character is different in both the string objects. So as you know that L, this one is one time lower than this M, that's why it will return a -1. So this statement is going to return a -1. In the next statement, compare to has been used on the two string objects S1 and S5. Now you can see that the contents of S1 and S5 are not equal, and the inequality comes in the very first character of the contents of the two string objects. And as you know that H is 2 times greater than F, so a positive value which is 2 will be returned if this statement is being executed. Now let's see the output of this program. Just as I told, the output should be 0, -5, -1 and a positive value 2. So this is how compare to can be used to identify whether two strings are equal or not, whether one string is less than or greater than or equal to another string or not. Here I have written public access specifier before the class name. You can omit this public access specifier and make this default also. In the program that I have just shown, we can see that compare to method checks for equality of two string objects, whether they're equal or less than or greater than the invoking string or not. And also the compare to method is case sensitive because the cases should also be equal for the contents of both the string objects. If the cases are not equal, that means if two string object contents are same but their cases are different, then also compare to method will give a negative or a positive value depending on the values or the contents of the string objects. Now if you want to ignore the cases, then you can use compare to ignore case method, just like the equals ignore case method that I have already taught you in the last lecture. So let's move on to the next method of today's lecture, which is index of and last index of. The string class provides two methods that allow you to search a string for a specified character or substring. And these are the two methods that string class provides us to do this. The first one is index of and the next one is last index of. If you use the index of method in a program, then it will search for the first occurrence of a character or a substring. And if you use the last index of method on a string object, then it will search for the last occurrence of a character or a substring. Now, these two methods are overloaded in several different ways also, but in all cases, the methods will always return the index at which the character or substring was found. Or if not found or if failure occurs, then it will return -1. There are numerous forms of these two methods available in Java. So let me write it down, the numerous forms, general forms of these two methods that are available in Java, and then let me explain you each one of them one by one. So these are the general forms of the index of and last index of methods. So the first one is this one. If you want to search for the first occurrence of a character, then you have to use this method. And here the ch variable means the character, whatever character that you will put inside the ch variable, the first occurrence of that character will be returned to you. Next, to search for the last occurrence of a character, we will use this method. And here also ch represents the character that we are searching for. Next one, this one, index of and last index of on the string objects. Here you can see, to search for the first or last occurrence of a substring, we will use these two forms. The index of method will actually return the first occurrence of the substring str, and the last index of method will actually return the last occurrence of the substring str. After that, these two methods are used again, but here with two parameters. You can see one parameter is the character itself, and the next parameter is start index. Here you can specify a starting point for the search using these two forms. That means the character ch will be searched starting from these indices. So start index means that after that index, the searching for the ch character will be processed by the index of method. Similarly, in the last index of method with this form, the ch character will be searched starting from this start index. And after that, these two are used again, but on substrings that here we can see are denoted using this str, and the start index is this one. So this index of method will actually search for this substring starting from this start index mentioned by using this start index variable, and the last index of method will search for the substring, will search for the last occurrence of the substring starting from this start index. So basically index of and last index of methods will do searching for the first occurrence or last occurrence, and both of them will be applied on characters or substrings. And if you want, you can specify a starting index from where the searching should begin with. So here, as I have just told, that the start index variable specifies the index at which point the searching begins. For index of, the search runs from start index to the end of the string, and for last index of method, the search runs from start index to 0. Now let us do an example program to demonstrate how these two methods and how these forms of these two methods can be applied on characters as well as on substrings. So this is a program that will demonstrate the uses of index of and last index of methods, all of their forms in this simple program. So here you can see that s is a string type reference variable, and this is literal that has been used to create the string object inside this s variable. And as it is a long string, so we have used the plus operator in order to concatenate these two strings. So this is the string, this is a long string, and we will apply the index of and last index of methods, the several forms of these two methods on this string. So this statement will just print the value of this string type object. That means just this string will be printed on screen. After that, we can see that in the next statement, the index of method has been used on the character t, and it has been called using the string type object s. That means inside this string object for the character t, we will use the index of method. That means we will find out the first occurrence of this t character. So here we can see that this is the first occurrence of the t character. So the index of this character will be returned. That means if you interpret this statement, if you execute this statement, the location of this t variable, t character will be seen on screen. After that, the last index of method has been used on the same character t, and here we can see that this is the last index of the t character, and if you execute this statement, the location of this t character will be returned. After that, you can see that using this statement, the index of method has been used on a substring, and the substring is d, thed. So you can see that the first occurrence of the substring d is this one. So the index of this substring will be returned. That means the index of the first character of this substring will be returned. After that, the last index method is also used on the same substring d, and you can see that this is the d substring that has been used for the last time in this sentence. So the location or index of the first character of this substring will be returned if you use last index of method on this substring d. Now after that, you can see that the index of method has been used on the character t again, but here with a starting index 10. That means after the 10th location or after the 10th index in the string, the index of method will search for the first occurrence of the character t, and whenever it will be found, the location of that character will be returned. After that, the last index of method has been used on the same character t again, but with a starting index 60. That means after the starting index 60, the last index of method will find out the last occurrence of the t character, and whenever the location will be found, that will be returned. In the next statement, the index of method has been used on the same substring D again, but here with a starting index 10. That means after the starting index 10, the substring D will be searched for its first occurrence inside the string. And whenever it will be found, the location of the first character, this one, will be returned. After that, in the next statement, last index of method has been used again on the same substring D, but with a starting index 60. So after the starting index 60, this method last index of will search for the last occurrence of the um, substring D, and whenever it will be found, the location of the first character of the substring will be returned. Now let's execute the program to show you the output. So here you can see that the first occurrence of the character T is at the 7th location, and this is the whole string that has been printed because we have printed the value of S. The last occurrence of the character T is this 65. The first occurrence of the substring D is 7, and that means 7 is the location where this D substring has been found for the first time, and the location of the first character of this substring, which is T, is returned here. That's why it's showing 7. And in the next statement, we can see that the last occurrence of the same substring D has been returned, which is 55. That means the location of the first character of the substring T is being returned here. That's why it's showing 55. After that, you can see that the first occurrence of the character T after the starting index 10 is being returned, which is 11 actually. And here using this statement, the last occurrence of the character T after the starting index 60 has been returned, which is 55 actually. In this context, you have to keep in mind that the starting index here in case of last index of method indicates the starting point, and after the starting index, the last index of method will search for the last occurrence um, towards 0. That's why it's showing 55 here. The last occurrence of the character T after the starting index 60 is 55. Then the index of method has been used again on the same substring D, but here with a starting index 10. So after the starting index 10, this D substring has been found in this location. That means this is the location of this first character of the substring. And after that, in the last statement, last index of method has been used again on the D substring, and this is the starting index. That means after the starting index, this substring D has been found in this location. So this is the location of this first character of this D substring, which is T. So these are the locations where we have found the characters. That's why they are showing the locations. But if the characters were not present in the string that has been given as input, then it should have returned a -1. We know that the string objects are immutable. Whenever you want to modify a string, you must either copy it into a string buffer or string builder, or use a string method that constructs a new copy of the string with your modifications complete. Now, we will do a simple program to make you understand why the string objects are immutable in nature. What makes it immutable? But before going into this, let us first understand the concat method, how concat method is used in a string program in Java. Then by using this concat method, I'll make you understand why the string objects are immutable in nature. You can concatenate two strings using this concat method. This is the general syntax of the concat method, as you can see here. This method will actually create a new object that contains the invoking string with the contents of the str variable, that means this variable that has been appended to the end. Concat method will perform the same function as that of the plus operator that you have already learned in string chapter. So let us take a simple example program. Here I have not written the full code, I have just written a part of the code. Here you can see that S1 is an object, string object, which has been made an object by using the string literal, which is 1. And on the S1 object, we have used the concat method. And inside the parenthesis of the concat method, I have used this string. That means the two string will be concatenated after this one string, and 1 2 as a result will be put into this s2 string type reference variable. That means if you print the value of s2, that then it should give you 1 2 as a concatenated string. So this will be the content of the S2 string type reference variable after this concat method has been applied on this S1 object containing this string literal 1. That means this string literal will be appended with this string literal. So this string will be appended with this string that will make it a single string 1 2 that will be stored into this string type reference variable S2. So if you print the value of S2, it will give you 1 2. But the same thing can be done using the plus operator also. That means like this. So here we have used the plus operator. This plus operator will do the same function as the concat method will do. The plus operator will also append this string after this string, and that string which is 1 2 1, after that 2 will be concatenated. That whole string will be stored into this s2 reference variable of string class. So here the plus operator is actually doing the same thing as this concat method. Concat method can be used in place of plus operator. If you don't want to use any string method, you can do the same thing using plus operator also. Now let us use this concat method to make you understand how the string objects are immutable in nature. So here you can see a simple program where this s is a string type reference variable and this is a string literal. Using this literal, we have made this s as a string object. After that, we have used the concat method on this s object, and this is the string that we want to concat after this object, after this value. But if you print the value of s, it will still give you Sachin as output instead of Sachin space Tendulkar as output. This is because of the reason that strings are immutable objects. So you cannot append this Tendulkar string after this Sachin string. That means if you want to do it, then string class will not allow you to do this. That means here in this program, you want to change the content of the string object s, that you cannot do, because once it has been created, its contents cannot be modified. That's what the immutable objects say. So if you want to concat the this string after this string, and then if you want to store it into s, then that's not going to happen. The content of the s reference variable or s object, which is a string object, is not going to change. If you want that this string will be appended after this string and the same will be stored into this string type variable s, that's not going to happen. If you print the value of s, then it will still print Sachin but not Sachin space Tendulkar, because it is a string type object which is immutable in nature. If you still want to do it, you have to change this program slightly. Let me do it. But before doing it, let me show you first the output of this program. Then after the change, I'll show you what to do if you want to print Sachin space Tendulkar as a string. So as I just told that the content of the string object s is not going to be changed because it is an immutable object. So it will just show you Sachin, which is the content that has been assigned into it while creating the object. Now let me change the program to show you what you can do if you want to print Sachin space Tendulkar as a string. So this is what you have to do. You have to assign the value of the concatenated string explicitly into this s variable. If you want to print the value of s, if you want to print the value of the string object as concatenated string, which is Sachin Tendulkar, then you have to assign the value Sachin space Tendulkar into this S reference variable of the string class explicitly using this assignment operator. If you don't do it, if you think that doing concatenation, applying concatenation using this concat method on the string type object S will do the concatenation, that means like this, that I have done previously. That means concatenating this Sachin's string with this Tendulkar string will make the content of the S reference variable changed. Then it's not going to happen. If you want to really change its contents, then you have to do the assignment explicitly like this, and then only the concatenated string, which is Sachin space Tendulkar, will be stored into this object again. Then if you print the value of S, it will give you Sachin space Tendulkar. But if it was a string buffer class object, then if this S was a string buffer class object, then if you didn't do it, if you do just this thing, that will change the content of the S reference variable, which is a reference variable of string buffer class. If it is a string buffer class object, then this concat method like this, if you apply it, then the content of the S variable will be changed. But this is not going to happen in case of string object, because string objects are immutable in nature. But this happens in string buffer class objects because string buffer class objects are mutable in nature. So this is what you have to do if you want to print the whole appended string Sachin space Tendulkar inside this same string class variable S. Now let me show you the output. As I have just told that if you want to print the whole string Sachin space Tendulkar, which is a concatenated string actually, you have to store it explicitly using the assignment operator again into the same string class reference variable S, and then you have to print the value of S. That's what I have done. That's why it is showing Sachin Tendulkar as output. So this is why string objects are immutable in nature. This is the simple program that shows you that string objects cannot be changed once their contents cannot be changed once they have been created. But you can do the same thing on string buffer class objects, and you will see that the contents of the objects have been changed. So this is the main difference between string class objects and string buffer class objects. Now let's move on to the next method of our today's lecture, which is substring. Using the substring method, you can extract a substring. It has two forms. This one is the first form. Here you can see that a variable start index has been taken. The start index specifies the index at which the substring will begin. This form will return a copy of the substring that begins at the start index, and it will run to the end of the invoking string. The second form of the substring will allow you to specify both the beginning and ending index of the substring, which is this one. Here you can see that two indices are specified. Here the start index specifies the beginning index, this one, and the end index specifies the stopping point. The string returned contains all the characters from the beginning index up to, but not including, the ending index. Now let's do a simple program to show you how these two forms of the substring method can be used in a string program. So this is an example program that shows you how the substring method is working. This is the string that I have taken, which is hello Java with no space in between. So this substring method is applied on the S1 object. This is a string class object, and the index specified is 0. So this is the starting index. That means starting from the 0th index to the end of the string, it will be printed. That means the whole string will actually be taken as a substring, and it will be stored into the sub str string type reference variable. When it will get printed, it will show you the whole string. Then the substring has been method has been used on the S1 object again, but here with a starting index and an ending index. So the starting index is 3 and the ending index is 7. As I have just told that the starting index will be included, but the ending index will be excluded. So it will get printed starting from the index 3 and it will end at index 6. So here we can see that the starting index 3 means this one is 0, 1, 2, 3. So starting from this index, it will go up to sixth index, which is 4, 5, 6. So up to this, it should get printed. Sorry, it's starting from 3 and it will go to 6. It will go to 6, not up to 7. 1 less than 7. So let me show you the output now. As I have just told that the first statement should give you the whole string as a substring, because we have started from the 0th index. That was our starting index. And the second one should give you these 4 characters. So this is the 3rd index and this is the 6th index, which is one less than the end index that we have specified in our program. So here I have made a slight change to the program. I have done the same thing. Here it was starting from 0th index. Here it's starting from 2nd index. That means this is 0, this is 1, this is 2. So starting from this, it will go to the end of the string. So starting from this portion, this substring will be printed on screen if you print this string class reference variable. Let me show you the output. So just as I told that starting from the 2nd index, the whole string after that till the end will be printed for this one. And this one was the first thing and this one was the second thing, third thing that is being printed, and this one I have introduced just now. So this is how substring method works in a Java program. The next method of our today's lecture is stream method. Stream method is a very easy method to learn. The trim method will actually return a copy of the invoking string from which any leading and trailing white space will be removed. So this is the general form of the trim method that you can see on screen. Now let's take a simple example. So here I have written a simple program. I have not written the full program. I have just written a part of the program where you can see that the trim method has been used on this string literal, where you can see that there are so many white spaces before the string and so many white spaces after the string. But if you apply this trim method on this string literal, then this leading and trailing white spaces will be removed. And then if you print the value of s, it will just print hello world without this leading and trailing white spaces. So the output of the s variable should look like only hello world without any spaces. So this will be the output of this s string type reference variable, where all the spaces before the string and all the spaces after the string will be removed by using this stream method. But remember that only the leading and trailing spaces will be removed. In between, whatever spaces are there in a string, those will remain same. Those will not be removed by using this stream method. So this is the function of the trim method. The last two methods of our today's lecture are two lowercase and two uppercase. The method two lowercase converts all the characters in a string from uppercase to lowercase, and the next method two uppercase will convert all the characters in a string from lowercase to uppercase. But non-alphabetical characters such as digits will remain unaffected. These are the two general forms of these two methods, two lowercase and two uppercase. Both the methods will return a string object that contains the uppercase or lowercase equivalent of the invoking string. Now let us do an example program to make you understand this concept. So this is a simple program where you can see that the two methods, two uppercase and two lowercase, have been demonstrated. This is a string that we have taken as a string literal, and this is the string object s. So if you print the value of s, it will just print the value, this one, this is a test. Now we have applied two uppercase method on this string object s, and then the result will be stored into this string type reference variable upper. That means this string will be converted into all uppercase letters, and the all uppercase letter string will be stored into this upper reference variable. In the next statement, two lowercase method has been applied on the string object s. That means the whole string will be converted in all lowercase letters, and that string will be stored into this string reference variable, string class reference variable, which is lower. Now, if you print the upper variable, you will see that all the letters have become uppercase, and if you print the value of lower, you will see that all the letters in this string have become lower cases. So now let's execute the program to show you how these two methods can be used to change the cases of a given string. So as I have just discussed that the first one is the original string because we have printed the value of it. The next one is a string with all uppercase letters because we have applied two uppercase method on it. And the next one is a string with all lowercase letters because we have applied the two lowercase method on it. So this is how two uppercase and two lowercase methods can change the cases of the invoking strings. So this is all about string class methods that we have learned in two lectures in today's lecture, and some we have learned in the previous lecture also. From the next lecture onwards, we will learn about how string buffer objects are used, how they can be created, and what are the methods that can be applied on the string buffer objects. So thank you for listening to today's lecture. See you in the next lecture.